I'm not going to talk a lot about the AI wars. I've written volumes on that online on LinkedIn, but we are going to talk about different AI use cases. But we will kick things off with almost a continuation of this morning's industrial grade data fabrics session with Devon Energy. I think that's an interesting view on all the different components that they're using to kind of address or assemble their own data fabric. Ibrahim, I think some of you may have seen his work on co-pilots in another session. He's got a different take on that, so we'll kind of have a Gen AI use case. I believe we are set up so that Ibrahim, if you're really interested to see more of the demo, then he could show you after we finish the session. So hopefully you do such a good job, Ibrahim, that they want more and you're going to demo at the end again. But he does have a few videos baked in. Cummins, unfortunately, isn't here, but I've got some of their slides. So I am going to present a few of those the best I can. And then we'll pull up after those 3 customer sessions, then we'll pull up the solution providers nominated by each of the customers to be on the panel. And then prepare your questions. I can ask questions nonstop, right? So, but if you want your questions specifically answered, then get them ready, and I will typically ask the first question just to warm the panel up, and then I'll be looking for anyone with questions. Alex, in the corner of the room, will at that stage have a couple of microphones and wait for him to get to you and answer the questions at that point. All right, let's, what are we, a couple of minutes past? Let's kick off. So we showed this, I think you've probably seen this 2 or 3 times. I'm not going to belabor the point. AI is having a huge impact and is seen to be having a huge impact. It's grown each of the last 3 years and continues to drive and shape a lot of investments in technology, both on the IT and the OT side. I showed this one earlier as well, in that we still got a lot of work to do on the digitization side and even connecting devices. There's only a small fraction. So some of the customers you're seeing here are really on the leading edge, and that they've got enough digitized that they can start to apply AI and ML to do actual optimization or even start thinking about some closed loop applications. The majority that we found in this survey at the end of the year, as you can see, are still talking about it or trying to sort out their data problem. The challenges that we're seeing, we addressed a lot in the morning session, where we really talked about why we had a session on industrial grade data fabrics, and Don will address that a lot more when he shows what they're doing at Devon Energy. Security is another one. Obviously, there's whole new attack vectors, but also whole new opportunities to use AI to address some of the attack vectors. So both offense and defense, it's changing the game a little bit. This starts getting into what this session is more about, which is really, we call it industrial AI for a very purposeful reason. We could see very early on that Gen AI was being equated as all AI. And we really wanted to make sure that we framed the use cases and the applications of AI in the industrial sector as being a toolbox of lots of different AI and ML techniques, some of which we've been using and deploying already for decades. So we didn't want everything to get lost in the Gen AI hype. This result really kind of points to, I think in our sector in particular, Ibrahim's going to prove us all wrong, right? But we might be viewed in the industrial sector as laggards as far as adopting Gen AI. But what this shows is it's for good reason. We are really looking at that full toolbox and using the right tool for the job, and at the right cost, the right performance, dealing with latency problems. As you go down the list, you kind of see, we do see Gen AI really being applied either as the new UI. So I don't know who labeled that Gen UI, but it kind of, everyone seems to resonate with when you talk about Gen UI, that every application you're using or solution you're using is gradually incorporating some form of Gen AI in the interface. The other major application we're seeing of Gen AI is really in knowledge capture and sharing. So that one, I think those two are, I think, really well established, and many of the use cases we see, that's the approach they're taking. But I think, how many of you went to the causal AI session? All right, so we had a dedicated session on causal AI, partly because we've got some really great customers doing innovative stuff, but also it's kind of in that next wave of AI innovation where it addresses many of the limitations of Gen AI in terms of explainability, causality. You can audit and reason why it came up with a particular recommendation. It's not a black box, and it's not prone to hallucinations, right? And so from that perspective, causal AI is probably the most pervasive of the next wave of potential AI, industrial AI waves that we're seeing. Neurosymbolic AI is maybe a little bit further out, but that's where you really start combining some of the foundation model principles and the benefits you get from that in terms of its ability to go and look at lots of unstructured data, but you solve some of the accuracy problems and the reasoning problems by almost taking a trip back to the beginnings of AI with a lot of the symbolic AI logic rules that you can apply on top of that. So that's kind of another wave where there's a lot of research and development going on. And you'll see this is respondents 563 from the year-end survey on what they were doing. We didn't forget agents, right? So you'll see that, yes, people are looking seriously at AI agents and how to orchestrate them. But if you take this as kind of a big picture view, the way I interpret this really is that agents in many ways are going to make it much easier to apply the right tool for the right job and at the right place. So you'll be able to have an agent that's doing, ML. It's not actually a Gen AI agent, so don't equate agents and Gen AI, just like you shouldn't say all AI is Gen AI. The agents could be running ML, could be running a large language model, could be a causal AI solution. So that is going to make it much easier. And I think return the focus to, I don't have to use Gen AI to solve every problem. Many times it's 10 to 100 times more expensive than using ML or another technique to solve a narrow, very focused problem. And so it'll help us return to that, use the right AI tool for the job. Okay, for those that needed a definition, it's in the deck, right? We defined this back in 2023. I'm still broadly comfortable with it. As you can see, even at the time, it was like top of mind for us was everyone's talking about Gen AI as if it's going to solve every AI problem, and that is the new AI. So just repeating what I said earlier, this is kind of encapsulates the idea that industrial AI is a toolbox of data science and AI and ML techniques.